We're finding into the map, and we are right into the map at the very top of Lee's Young Tower.
And this is where, for PHOENiX, going to run Ho onto the Sombra. Something a little bit different for them. Hong Kong Attitude, though, playing it safe. It's going to be the classic Ryan Goats out of them.
And Hong Kong Attitude are closer to the point here as it unlocks. Oh, this might be perfect, isolated and caught out. He's actually able to get away, and Ilsubi got found out by Shylin. So Hong Kong Attitude getting the better end of the deal, getting a point cap for their trouble. And PHOENiX, at the 5v6 they are, can't really go any further. Now Hong Kong Attitude want to press this advantage, should just be able to clean up a kill or two here.
And really going for the objectives as well, prioritizing the objective first, getting that cap, now actually cleaning up PHOENiX, which was basically something that was likely to happen anyway with the advantages that they did have. They have 17, 18% on their opponents, who do also have an EMP going into the next fight.
That EMP could be very impactful, and it should be. And there it is. Nice connection as well. Really isolates a tank. He's not quite able to pull back. Neither is Mango Jai. CQB down, so PHOENiX, they're going to hit back. They're going to hit back very hard.
You can see there from Hong Kong Attitude, they weren't quite prepared for that EMP coming through. Notably, Shylin did not have the rally up. Likely that armor does help a lot. When you do get the rally in there, everyone's got an extra 100 HP, especially if you're Mango Jai on the Zen. That's 150 HP versus the 50 you get left with when the EMP hits off. They did not expect PHOENiX to have quick EMP. That's exactly what happened though, and the tables turned fast.
Bit of an interesting thing though. It's going to be the grabs to come out from PHOENiX, just counted out by Mango Jai's Transcendence.
Off the map.
Oh, 1 for 1 though, so Melon's taken the double charge. That takes both Earth Shatters off. Now here's the interesting thing that I was going to say. Perfect. He's got a grab, he's looking to connect it, gets it out decently, and there's no Diva to stop it. They've already found PHOENiX. The self-destruct doesn't quite get anything, but Hong Kong Attitude are in a reasonable situation here. Shatter out from, just didn't really get anything. CQB was on his back, but way too far back, way too safe for it to be an issue. This is, I mean, PHOENiX are doubling down on this.
We see a moment there as well where PHOENiX loses the point. Now they lose members. It's a big one from a team.
But it's maybe a fraction of a hair too late, thanks to the death of Mango Jai and CQB there. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Whew. This is a tight one. PHOENiX are going to get the point back in their control. They did actually lose it to Hong Kong Attitude partway through that fight.
It's been quite contentious as well. Both teams have been swapping hands on top of that point. Transcendence now being used by Pixie as Melon cleans up too.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough break here for Hong Kong Attitude. They have banked up some good ultimates, should come into this next fight in a much more favorable situation. And because they got that little point cap in there about a fight and a half ago, PHOENiX aren't too far ahead either.
Hong Kong Attitude do still have a decent amount of ults to play with it, despite PHOENiX being now ahead 20 or so percent. In terms of the actual cap progress, Earthshatter being online quickly for Melon, though, should be able to make the difference. And Ho as well, getting that EMP is going to be make or break for the next fight.
They need that one sorely. Hong Kong Attitude, though, they've got a grab self-destruct combo. And again, no
long range one.
So Perfect can just lob that one out like so. Already finding Pixie and also Shylin finding his counterpart. Melon does trade one back, but this is Hong Kong Attitude off to an exceptional start. Now they storm onto the point, and PHOENiX, they know what's up. They're just going to let it go.
They have a win condition, though. PHOENiX can come back. If they get the EMP off perfectly, there's no response from Hong Kong Attitude. No Transcendence, no sound barrier. If they eat the EMP and lose, this first round goes to PHOENiX.
And PHOENiX, I mean, even fading that, they've got an Earth Shatter. They've got a lot of high-impact tools, and there's going to be the EMP, very quick, very aggressive Shatter as well. But Dennis taking some pain, though, stays alive. Will be able to get a rally off, but no one on Hong Kong Attitude has died. That's crucial. They've weathered the storm, and now they can charge up some ultimates of their own.
Getting rid of a Ting is important here because he's close to an Earth Shatter. Perfect going down. It spells bad news. Hong Kong Attitude are soon to lose this point if the Shatter doesn't come down good.
It does not, unfortunately. Largely blocked out, and the Ting will not quite be able to retreat either. PHOENiX does actually go down 1 for 1 with his own right click, but now losing Shylin, all these members down on the point, and this is very late deaths, 96% for PHOENiX. Overtime's going to come through for Hong Kong Attitude, might not be coming through on the other side of that coin. That's going to be the full cap completion.
And a big opening statement from PHOENiX here as well. Favoritism doesn't mean anything. Being a higher seed does not mean anything. Anyone can win right now. PHOENiX are proving that point. It was back and forth the entire round. Hong Kong Attitude, very competitive, very good start. But for PHOENiX, unshaken. They come back strong. They are able to take the lead on Lee Jung.
This is a very different pace of play as well to the semi-final we just had. Both these teams are, let's be realistic, they're running a core of Ghosts. PHOENiX are sticking to this adaptation of putting the Sombra in over a Diva. I do kind of like that. Arguably, that means it's not Goats anymore. But the rest of it is, right? Hong Kong Attitude were playing straight goats. They are now deciding to make an adaptation of their own. But these are micro adjustments.
This is still Ho staying on the Sombra as well, so just really valuing the EMP pressure as well as the hacks. Really looking to see what Perfect can do with the damage, and so far he is getting something done because there are some at least low-ish health bars on the PHOENiX side, especially on Melon.
Oh no, a team got baited right into that one. Nicely done by Melon. They thought, well, they're separated out. We can go ahead and pick one off, but actually PHOENiX get the better end of that deal.
And look at this rotation as well. They know there's no Ryan on the other team, so pushing through on this narrow choke point, they're uncontested. Slight boot coming through from Perfect, but will not find a kill.
Nearly got Melon, but no cigar. A team will be able to rejoin the fray, though, as the cap goes the way of PHOENiX. Luckily, no casualties for Hong Kong Attitudes. They can still fight this. And actually, VK fighting Ho. VK's got a decent amount of charge in pocket as well. Gonna get aggressive on the point. Good counter pick, but again, pressure is there. And actually, Hong Kong Attitude are the ones on the point. They find out Melon, and Power down to his own right click again. Smack back down onto Vendetta. That's going to be Hong Kong Attitude grabbing the point straight off PHOENiX.
That's the thing. PHOENiX prioritized the point first, so they didn't clean up enough kills. Going to the 6v6 and actually find CQB quite early. That should be an advantage, but they do not win the 6 versus 5. Unable to do anything against Perfect, even indoors. The rocket damage is so effective. 90% nearly for him, as Graviton Surge is now available for VK.
The unfortunate reality was it's a great pick, but because Ho had got picked just earlier, he wasn't quite back with the team. And now they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with it, making the change now onto McCree.
He was Widowmaker for just a little bit here. Comes at Crab though, it's a big one.
Straight into it. Pacey does commit a Transcendence, but it does not save Vendetta, does not save Ilsubi, and with both this co-supports down, Melon not long for this world. Ho, I think, took a dive there. That's going to be Hong Kong Attitude retaining control and, crucially, charging up ultimates.
Now, this is where Hong Kong Attitude can actually get a decent lead, not just in ultimates, but on progress as well. 40% and counting, nearly double what PHOENiX have, and PHOENiX still waiting for ults. 4 online for Hong Kong Attitude. PHOENiX really need to get this grab, and they need to get some support ults up as well.
Apologies for the delay there, but Hong Kong Attitude now lining up for that rocket barrage. They just still want to keep getting that chip damage in here. Looking for their opportunity. PHOENiX do have some good ultimates here. Just look at this angle from the rocket barrage.
It's a great place and also an awful place as well. The grabs do come through.
And as they go to follow up on it, that's when the barrage gets committed, but unfortunately no connection. Great bump off though, catching Vendetta. Perfect still untouched out here. He is slowly getting that chip damage in that's now going to allow them to hopefully finish off Melon. The grab certainly helps as well. In fact, did the damage to Melon. It's going to be another fight win. This one a bit more expensive for Hong Kong Attitude, but PHOENiX, they spend a lot of resources of their own.
And getting someone off the map, taking Vendetta down, turning to a 6v5 early for Hong Kong Attitude is so important because the barrage does nothing. Like I mentioned, a great place for a barrage, also an awful place for a barrage. Do not have good angles to work on. A diva in your face can cost you your life, if not just the ultimate.
Lucky to not die, unlucky to not get any kills. But the spam damage that they're able to lay out as PHOENiX make the approach like that, Perfect's already back up to 70.
Big shatter.
Huge shatter. Pacey pops a very quick Transcendence, but it does not save Vendetta, and they can't get to the point because of it. Beautifully done by Hong Kong Attitude. Just reading the win condition, going, we don't even need to win a fight. We just need to stop them getting to the point.
It's just this control style by Hong Kong Attitude as well. War of attrition here, having a big bank of ultimates, and then they have the sort of position onto the map where they just can't or won't allow PHOENiX to get back on top of the point. The damage from Perfect is just counting up slowly and slowly. Ho and PHOENiX do not find the appropriate counter. Couldn't play the Widow, couldn't play the McCree, couldn't play anything to stop Perfect. And now going into the decider for Lee Jung, this is going to tell us who takes map number 1. And Perfect looks like he wants to stay, at least onto the Doom, stay off a Goats.
They're maybe going to go for a May here, and PHOENiX, on the other hand, are going to go full Goats. So there we go. The Doomfist is going to be coming out, and I like this. I like this a lot. Perfect's Doomfist is exceptional, and this is a map where we've seen it absolutely dismantle Rhine Goats.
Certainly have. The May does the same thing if it's in the hands of Perfect, but that's an early death.
Yeah, they're not able to isolate Melon, and they get punished for it. Melon just goes on a rampage across Hong Kong Attitude. Drop Shaman, then takes out his counterpart in a Tink. That means PHOENiX just going to get a free fight.
It's a front-to-back position for Hong Kong Attitude as well. They're trying to fight with punching directly into that front line. They couldn't find a flank. They didn't attempt to find a flank. Now it's going to be the May instead. This is how Hong Kong Attitude were dismantling Grand Zern just the other week on this specific point.
And I think it's curious that they didn't open with it. I did like the Doomfist, but think this has been a bit more reliable. Melon's already got an Earth Shattered though. That's going to be real tough for Hong Kong Attitude to deal with.
And there's just no ults online for Hong Kong Attitude whatsoever. The wall is very average. Does get a kill though, so maybe I'll just eat those words.
Yeah, it's hard to isolate members, but they're still able to do that. Also, stealth pun in the word isolate. CQB goes down on his back in the Earth Shatter. The wall actually keeps them a bit safe here. Nice play there, but Perfect takes an Orb of Discord. Immediately gets dropped. Struggling to get the damage out. Power's committed a Graviton Surge though, rather. And they haven't really had a chance to follow up on it. This is still anyone's fight, especially with VK's grab up.
Well, VK's probably going to end up using it after the Transcendence here. Even in the Trance. Waiting for some kills.
Yeah, a little early, I think, and now the sound barrier as well, plus a team going down means they probably can't get any kills, and Hong Kong Attitude are just going to take a very expensive loss.
The problem here is Hong Kong Attitude are not able to fight on a choke. If they're fighting on the point itself, the value on the May goes down significantly. They need to be spawn camping. They need to be forcing fights in very small locations. Otherwise, the wall does nothing. Just walk around the wall. It's not really a big factor.
Lol, just walk around the wall. But you're completely right, and that's the thing. They need to get a fight win on the point before this can really hit its stride. Ho. Ooh, nicely prevented. Ilsubi's in a bit of trouble here. That's a wacky charge by Melon. Takes a team way away from the team. Both Reinhouses duking it out. But that works for PHOENiX because the team does have an Earth Shatter. However, in the rest of the fight, turns out Hong Kong Attitude going to come out the better of it thanks to that Blizzard. Now they will wrest control of the point. They get a team back in the mix. Ho is going to try and stall this one out. He's actually just going to be a late death and feed some ultimate shots.
This is going to be very slow though, like you mentioned, late death here. Still over 90% for PHOENiX. Or just at 90, however. Hong Kong Attitude, though, should be coming into their own pretty soon. This is where the main composition really shines. Get the wall up onto the spawn location. This is where Hong Kong Attitude need to make up for that 90% deficit.
And this is where, like you said, Grand Zer got completely stopped up when they met in the quarterfinal. That's it, the isolation, the Earth Shatter, completely absorbed by a team. Nice Transcendence, but it's not quite enough to save Melon. They've got that one up on PHOENiX, and as the Transcendence runs out, suddenly, with no ultimates expended, Hong Kong Attitude are looking like they're going to be able to hold here even further. They've already handily won the fight, and PHOENiX used 2 ultimates.
Not just any 2 ultimates, 2 very big ones as well. Melon got knocked up, you saw, as soon as he tried to go through, he was in the air for a long time, gives the team a decent amount of response time to block that one out. Pixie, he needs line of sight on Transcendence to actually get the healing through. Couldn't do that through the wall.
Now it's going to be the grab this time around, plus the Earth Shatter, maybe a little bit too many things used, but they were at a 5 versus 6. They didn't want to take any risks, and it does pay off. They do get the kills, and they are still rotating into some good ultimates.
That's the thing, because the team uses Earth Shatter, gets himself a quad kill. Perfect charges up to 93. We're going to see another Blizzard here pretty soon. Perfect knows it, and Hong Kong Attitude even have defensive options. Pawu's the only hope for PHOENiX. Can he get a grab? That might be their answer.
Oh, this time the wall doesn't quite isolate anyone, so they've baited out that cooldown. That's something, but they will still have to fight through a Blizzard, so it's kind of not the end of the world for Hong Kong Attitude, and they've committed it here. You can see, looking to isolate the tanks that have gone through the choke point.
And that's the thing as well, frozen just like the stream, and now we're going to get back into the action.
And already they've been able to pick those tanks out, even finding Ilsubi in the mix, who I think had gone through with them, so the rest have to back up. And suddenly, Hong Kong Attitude have all but evened up the points.
We're nearly at the 90% mark for Hong Kong Attitude as well. Again, the May is so good here, so difficult for PHOENiX to be able to break through, and they need to start touching the point. We're in the sort of period where, as overtime hits, PHOENiX now not only do they have to break through the choke, they must contest the cap.
And there's no way for them to go here, right? They can get isolated either way. This time, though, whiff. The grab comes out, no Diva to block. Perfect. He's happy to take the 1v1 against Melon. Melon's made a big mistake here. That's going to be a sneak trying to come through from Ho, but Melon's down. The sneak is not going to buy them too much time. The rest of PHOENiX is barreling to the point. Hong Kong Attitude will meet them there in a 6 versus 5 with a grab available. Ho has to block this. He did.
Oh, missed the grab.
They're in it. They've got Pixie. That's just enough. Now Ilsubi down as well. And it looks like Hong Kong Attitude will but secure. Hold on a second though, Shadow. Self-destruct. No, they don't quite get that one through. Last gasp from PHOENiX. Nearly got the combo out from Melon and Ho, but unfortunately Ho out of the neck. Another Blizzard down on the point for anyone who's going to try and make an approach as the overtime crawls its way down. Hong Kong Attitude are going to go ahead and secure the Zheng Tower.
Very difficult victory for Hong Kong Attitude, though. You can see there towards the end, a 90% lead for PHOENiX as they went into what was going to be a completed cap and a completed hold for Hong Kong Attitude from 0 to 100, basically, what's going to give them now that first map in this series. But man, that was a tough victory for Hong Kong Attitude.
I think the really alarming moment was actually on night market right out the gate when when PHOENiX, they both start with P, give me a break, when PHOENiX actually won that map outright, and they won it by inches, right? It was very scrappy, very back and forth, and unfortunately Hong Kong Attitude couldn't quite get all the fights they needed. Then getting a shutout on Gunners totally flipped that script. And then the capstone of that all is that we go to Control Center, where Hong Kong Attitude had to recover and then win from what was a massive deficit, both in ultimates and actually the charge on the point. But it goes to show that the strategy is sound. Once they're rolling, they are still very hard to stop. So the thing that PHOENiX are going to have to do now, they're not going to ever completely stop Hong Kong Attitude from ever getting rolling. They're going to have to figure out how to stop them.
The other thing is, like, Hong Kong Attitude did take a lot of time to get going there. When you start to see how that Mei strategy works, it is a bit of a risk, a bit of a gamble, like we see from some other teams here, to try and get it going when you are behind. It is only really good once you are already winning. If you are already winning, you probably finish the map like that. You probably just went outright, which is kind of what happened after they got a fight.
Once they started winning,
but to actually get that fight win took them until 90%. For PHOENiX, which is just a huge deficit. The fact that they have to work with a deficit here. It's not just on Control Center. We look at across the other two, I should say, rounds as well. PHOENiX have been ahead time and time again on top of actual objective pressure, on top of actually being in fights. PHOENiX have been winning. It's coming down to Hong Kong Attitude. How well do they bounce back? How well do they fight from behind? That's where Hong Kong Attitude have been able to come in.
Yeah, that's been the real thing, right? I mean, let's also not forget that there was the opening fight where they were actually rolling out on the Doomfist there. So, I mean, that did end up costing them as well. I think if they'd come out on the Mei, even if they'd lost that first fight, they might have recovered a little bit earlier. But again, still credit where it's due. They did actually recover. So on the whole, they secure that map. That one's tucked away for them. And I think they do deserve to secure that as well. The shutout is maybe the more telling of the lot. But again, I want to just go back to that idea of, like, when they have a strategy that they know is sound, once they get it rolling, it sticks. We've seen that in our last semi-final being a really big factor based on the map and what the team is prepared. PHOENiX are going to have to figure out how to stop Hong Kong Attitude when they do get into that groove. Now we're going to see where that next map is going to play out and what the pick is going to be for PHOENiX as we move on to Hybrid. We go to Hollywood.
And that's where Hong Kong Attitude's new groove is going to be found as well. It's a 1-0 lead in the series, so the sort of position where PHOENiX do really need to start looking to bounce back. We don't want to be, if you are PHOENiX, in a 0-2 position going into map number 3. And for Hong Kong Attitude now, again, not comfortable. First one, definitely not comfortable. If this one doesn't go their way, questions will start being asked here, because so far both teams have been winning 3-0 in the playoffs. There was only just one quarterfinal, but for Hong Kong Attitude, if they're starting to really crumble at any sort of these points, you really believe PHOENIX's ability to win. In fact, you still do believe PHOENIX's ability to win, just off the fact that Lijiang Tower was not a one-sided affair. It was quite close. It was definitely a winnable map for PHOENiX, and I think still possibly now going to Hollywood, now this is going to be a winnable map as well for either team.
I think if this semi-final does end up being a 3-0, which it may, it'll be one of those 3-0s that really doesn't tell the story. I feel like all these maps would be exceptionally close with one team just consistently edging out the other, which does make them deserving of a victory, sure, but does make those close affairs. So with Hong Kong Attitude, I'll stick to the word. They do come into this as the favorite, and they have started themselves off with a win on Lijiang Tower. Now looking to follow it up on Hollywood, maybe bring us to match point. PHOENiX, on the other hand, desperately hunting to tie up the score.
Now, it might not have worked last time, but Hong Kong Attitude are not shy to try and make a second attempt here. Perfect is back on the Doomfist. It's been working great for some other teams. Jeki on Cyclone Coupling, as well as one on Nova Esports. And Hong Kong Attitude now want to give it themselves a go, want to win with this comp.
And I just love seeing Perfect on Doomfist. He's got one of the best Doomfists, if not the best Doomfist in the tournament. A lot of this relies on isolating the Reinhardt. If you can get that pop-up, if you can get damage in behind them and finish them off, or maybe get a pick underneath them while they're popped up, then you're in business.
Just by the way, apologies for the delays here, as we should have these fixed up very shortly and continue into Hollywood. So we are going to take a little bit of a pause here, and hopefully we can get back into action very soon. But, you know, for this team, Again, for Hong Kong Attitude, let's see if they can get a good start here, because so far they've been in a lot of recovery positions. You want to see them take the lead and really run with that lead instead of trying to fight from behind.
I mean, I'd like to say that, right? We should be getting into the game in just a few short moments as well, by the way, so do just sit tight for that one. Appreciate your patience, but I think this is, again, an interesting situation. The attacking team here, a precedent needs to be set by PHOENiX, right? They need to go, look, Lijiang Tower, we lost it, we could have won it. This one, we are going to win.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be, a big call for both teams. I think getting that extra lead for Hong Kong Attitude at 2-0, again, a big deal. Puts them onto match point. For PHOENiX as well, getting that run back, getting that opportunity to start swinging things around is going to be a big deal. So the other thing to consider is, based on the last semi-final, you also don't anymore have a precedent where team that wins the first control also wins the second control map 5. So you also have a case
what it has been up till this point.
Exactly. So you also do have a case where if PHOENiX can get the second map, they end up on map 5. It's not necessarily a case where, well, Hong Kong Attitude are favored here. Anybody can win at this stage, but they need to get themselves into the lead, which is the hard ask of the tournament.
It's curious how those control maps are working out, like just because of how the compositional meta has evolved over this season of Pacific Contenders. We're in a situation where, like, the individual constituent maps of a control map actually have more of an impact than the control map as a whole. So each bit is kind of anyone's game. Do believe we're able to get back into game here, so really do appreciate your patience. We are back underway. The cap has already gone through for PHOENiX, but Hong Kong Attitude setting up a very heavy spawn camp.
So far, no one's really changing compositions here. Perfect is still on to the Doomfist, and Hong Kong Attitude, like you mentioned, very aggressive.
Oh, but a Ting gets flanked and ganked and charged down.
Big shatter.
Big shatter, but good counter pick. Now it's going to be a grab committed as well. PHOENiX had to throw a lot at it to force it through, but they do get possession of the payload again.
So importantly, like you mentioned, it's double tank ultimates just to get that card into their position, just to start pushing it again as we make our way through the streets. For PHOENiX, that means they're starting to run out of ability, starting to run out of resources, and for Hong Kong Attitude, able to set up very quickly to get the next contest, to get the next defense going.
This is ideal, right? They've got plenty of time to get this next defense in here. They can set up a long hold as well. This cart will go a long way back. Nice flank around, trying to come from behind. They take a bit of chunks. It's going to be the grab going in, layered on top of the sound barrier. They commit a meteor strike, but because of the sound barrier, hard to get the kills through. Now Pixie as well, committing a transcendence. Mango Giant having long since been finished off. Nice catch on Melon, but traded with a Ting. That means the Earth Shatter did not finish channeling. Wu with a lot of charge in the pocket here as well. And look at the ultimate he's banking up in this whole time. Perfect still trying to fish for kills, but Hong Kong Attitude have forced PHOENiX off the card.
Perfect was so low in that fight as well. Had to go back to get heals, and he's importantly a member that cannot go down here after a thing dies. They need someone that can still frontline, that can apply pressure. VK can't be the only one doing that. Hong Kong Attitude now losing the Earth Shatter though is a big deal. Ting was the first to go down, could not get the Earth Shatter in there, and Melon has an advantage on him.
Our apologies there. We are now back into the action. Melon's, he's just like, he's thinking about it.
Oh, Perfect's just looking at him.
Looks absolutely perfect. That's going to be the grab out, immediately catching Perfect. They kind of rescue him, self-destruct lane in, 1-for-1 so far. Perfect being down, does remove a lot of that kill pressure, but PHOENiX again have drained themselves dry for tank ultimates. Finding a Ting and Shailindo, they start just straight out fragging and will once again get back on the payload.
And Hong Kong Attitude just don't get the opportunity to use those resources they finally have in Earth Shatter, but can't get one in there. PHOENiX cleaned them up so easily, and now they continue pushing on through. Ultimates charging up quick as well. Spawn control ready to go. You can see Power was just checking which direction Hong Kong Attitude want to come out of, because the card is nearly at the terminus.
Hong Kong Attitude should have a chance for one last contest, and they actually come in with a decent set of ultimates. The Shadow especially, it's not great though. Wu's the only one on the back, and the Sound Barrier rescues him. Now it's going to be the isolation of Melon. They need to finish him off as they're all stuck in a grab of Wu's. That's going to be the cleanup. And I'll be honest, PHOENiX have had to commit the double tank ultimates in a lot of fights, but they're charging them up so fast.
Yeah, they're getting these clean team wipes as well. All 6 members down. Poe is going forward, trying to get some more kills, trying to get some more damage in to get his next grab going. And we've mentioned in the pre-game as well, Poe changing on Zari has been such a huge boon for PHOENiX, and it's showing his consistent energy charge onto his actual energy damage output. Then also the fact that he can get these grabs so quickly has been so helpful.
Just been such a strength and fresh air for this team. A second win doesn't work. It's a force strength from Mango Jai. The Shatter's nice. They find Shailin with the charge as well. Will Hong Kong Attitude trade back? No, in fact, they'll continue losing members now. Mango Jai and a Ting. VK likely to go down here. The rest in full retreat. Probably not going to make it out, unfortunately. That's a delayed team wipe, but PHOENiX preserve momentum.
And that's another 6 members as well. PHOENiX just continue wiping the floor every single fight Hong Kong Attitude try to take against them. In the later half of B and then also onto C, it's just been completely one-sided. Hong Kong Attitude need ultimates. VK's finally got a grab, but he has been spotted.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Now they're just ready. They got Ho in there, but Ho not counting on taking that much damage. Just waiting for it. Throws it out, does not get eaten. That's really huge. That would have been an easy angle for Ho to eat from if he had the defense matrix running, but he did not. The 2 deaths are enough to force PHOENiX to retreat. Now Hong Kong Attitude just trying to run down, get a few more kills, get a bit more ult charge.
And finally a reset forced upon PHOENiX. The first one for such a long time as well. Ho manages to stay alive during that entire time, and for Hong Kong Attitude, starting to bleed that timer down. About 1 minute remaining on the push for PHOENiX. No more room for error on this offense, or PHOENiX will not cap.
And that's an important sort of break point for Hong Kong Attitude. If they can get this one, then they're in good shape. But again, Earthshatter only gets PHOENiX, and no one's going to be able to follow up on it. Now Transcendence running, bump forward onto a Ting. He's in trouble, does go down. And Hong Kong Attitude, they've got nothing to work with. Self-destruct laid in on top of that ultimate there. PHOENiX did go down, but Vendetta finds one. Ilsubi low, but gets a barrier off. CQB matches. BK about to come up on a grab.
CQB gets himself and 3 other members. This grab has to be absolutely huge.
And it
does catch a lot of members.
They should be able to get Melon, but no. Crash healing comes in. Self-destruct. The shield blocks it out. Melon's still low, but he's not died. That means he's still in the fight. Now it's a Ting.
Ting's in trouble.
Ting goes down. Holo, but he's able to duck out of the action. Instead, Perfect is the one to lose the mech. Shailin picks off, and they're just not finishing these kills off. PHOENiX are doing an incredible job of keeping all these members in the fight. Melon has only just died now. A Ting still trying to stall out, this time out on the Wrecking Ball. Not long for this world. I don't think BK is going to touch it. Actually, it does just barely, but it is only a matter of time here. PHOENiX have this one under control.
Look at this. So the overtime has been triggered. Hong Kong Attitude have done their job. They're probably not going to finish this fight, but this is enough. Hong Kong Attitude have done all they need to do for this defense.
CQB as well can come in here. They actually decided to stall out. They're getting a few more respawns in. Again, this is dependent on kills. They're not getting the kills. They're not getting the frags. They probably don't turn this around, and PHOENiX are still charging up ultimates here. But, I mean, yeah, they got it to the overtime. They've done the job. They might as well take the punt. Ultimately, though, PHOENiX will get it over the line.
But you got to try. You can't fault them for that. And for Hong Kong Attitude, you have to think back to how most of that B defense went, how most of that C went as well. There's one big reset for Hong Kong Attitude. Aside from that, continued 6-man team wipes coming through for PHOENiX time and time again. And despite that, only an overtime cap out for PHOENiX. So Hong Kong Attitude losing pretty hard in the later half of that match, of the map rather, but still a great defense when you look at the numbers.
And also, I mean, it is a little unfortunate that when you look at the numbers as well, just the time that was on the clock there, it does appear that point A got capped pretty quickly. Hong Kong Attitude still had a lot of good defenses on the later stages after the fact. That was where they were able to make up for that time, but that one little slip in the defense early on was still a problem.
So now we have their own offense. Perfect now, just scouting out with the Sombra, deciding what he wants to play, and it's going to be Doomfist again. Just really favoring the Doomfist now late into the tournament. We are seeing a lot more of that. Vendetta is going to be matching with his own, so this is going to be a mirror comp on both sides.
Yeah, you got to get more Doomfist in before 1-3-2, right? But anyway, Perfect going in, takes a big chunk of health as it
knockout,
healed back up, and there it is. Like you said, finds his counterpart. The Sing does go down, but they're able to finish off Melon as well. Perfect, just absolutely no fear on this man. They will dismantle PHOENiX pretty handily.
This is a very, very quick cap from them as well. Unlikely that PHOENiX will try and stop this one. Better for them to try and set up for B. Still though, a little bit of time remaining. What are they going to do?
The answer is pretty much nothing. Love taps. Vendetta love taps. He realizes if he sticks around, he'll die. He can't get the rest of the team back in there in time, so they just take that one. They want to take an early defense fight.
It's a worthwhile attempt if you can get a punch onto somebody. That's a free kill, but otherwise, well, this is the result that you do get. PHOENiX now can hold the choke point.
Oh, great catch onto PHOENiX, and then just run down Melon. PHOENiX are not going to get that same defensive setup as what Hong Kong Attitude did. They are not going to be able to set up any kind of spawn camp. Instead, they're going to get routed and nearly team wiped.
And this is where Hong Kong Attitude can match the time. In fact, get in much better time. It's 0 seconds for PHOENiX for Hong Kong Attitude. They can get something here because they have not been stopped on A. PHOENiX were stopped on A. Hong Kong Attitude have not been stopped at the B spawn. PHOENiX were stopped at the B spawn.
It's all these differences that do end up adding up, and Hong Kong Attitude also come in with more ultimates. Immediate commit on the grab. They've already found PHOENiX despite the Transcendence. Meteor Strike doesn't find anything, but they found Ilsubi and the rest of the fight anyway. They isolate Vendetta. He might not get out of this, he might, but the damage has been done either way.
Look at this now. So a lot of members going down on the side of PHOENiX. They have ultimates, but they do not get the chance to use them. Routed once again, forced to retreat, forced to regroup. And for Hong Kong Attitude, not really forced to use too much. Double support ultimates online. Never had to use them. And still PHOENiX going down early.
So huge. And again, when they've isolated PHOENiX, they've very quickly picked up Melon. Mango's Jai's thrown this one out just because Vendetta's committing in here. They don't want to waste any more time.
Fast.
Might not have been necessary to use the Transcendence, but at any rate, the cap, like you said, so quick.
You would be very surprised to see Hong Kong Attitude not finish with a very good time here on Hollywood. Going into that time bank, PHOENiX now have a lot of work to do if they want to stop this attack.
Hong Kong Attitude already coming back up on those big tank ultimates. PHOENiX is leading VK in charge, but it might not be the difference maker here. Perfect does not get out of that one alive, unfortunately. Now it's going to be the tanks. Oh, great catch on Melon. Takes the Earth Shatter off the table. Pace Shield down as well. And PHOENiX is going to commit a grab, but there's the one out of BK. So there we go. The cooldowns do work in Hong Kong Attitude's favor. They continue with another team wipe and more momentum.
And that was a 6v5 as well in favor of PHOENiX, but Hong Kong Attitude came in with more ults, better execution as well. You want to play Shadow? Well, we got one. If you want to play Graviton Surge, we can counter you. And Hong Kong Attitude continue pushing. That was not even a reset.
Speaking of Shatter, Melon died with his up, a team used his, and is already at 90% on another, with the payload just about gone over. Melon stunned, isolated, picked off. Outstanding play from Hong Kong Attitude, and now a team can just shatter for style points. Meteor Strike down for Perfect, doesn't find anything, but he is continuing to wreak havoc on the back line of this team. Hojin Ho up on this high ground has to come down and play, just because otherwise the cap goes over for free. Earth Shatter for style points, and Hong Kong Attitude with a stunning time on Hollywood.
And not even a late last-minute contest there from PHOENiX as well. Just no opportunity to get out of spawn, continue rotating members on, stalling through with the Hammonds and the Mays and the Tracers and anything else that you'd like. That was completely dominated by Hong Kong Attitude, just pushing on through, uncontested, unbarred, unhold, and now going into this time bank. This is now the situation where Hong Kong Attitude, 4 minutes and 15 seconds to, I believe, just get 1/3, and that 1/3 is the difference between winning and going to a draw, which is the best now possible result for PHOENiX on this defense.
And I mean, Hong Kong Attitude have 15 seconds more than what you usually have on a point A push. They barely even needed one fight on their original point A push, need we remind you. I mean, this is looking poised to be that 2-0 that Hong Kong Attitude are really after. They want a dominating semi-final here.
It's not even going to be any regular 2-0. This is going to be a dominant 2-0. Sure, we did go to timeback. Sure, we didn't end this game within the original attacking defending phase, but this seems more like, you know, a complimentary time bank. It seems a bit like a consolation prize for PHOENiX, who struggled to get across that point. Can't count them out, though. Draw is still a possibility. You do need to be careful. You do need to give respect to that.
BK was just fishing for an early sleep dart there. See if they can get an early pick off. So that's all is going to be going over. They've got a bit of scouting, so they want to stick with the Stoomfist. And hey, maybe that's what we really get out of this time bank. We get to see that Doomfist for a little bit longer.
And that's the thing, it's been working so well. Perfect has been out-punching his counterpart, and now he's looking for more.
There it is, immediately tries to, you know, sock one to Pace Shield. Doesn't quite get it. Melon, low but alive, that's crucial. But this time he gets it. There we go, gets the Rock'em Sock'em onto Vendetta. And Melon down as well, and it's already looking like it's over for PHOENiX here with that many members dead. PHOENiX, the last piece de resistance on the point itself, the 1/3 over. That was nearly at 3:33 on the clock as well, just for the extra poetry of it all. Hong Kong Attitude 2-0 up, they take us to match point.
And beautiful map there from Hong Kong Attitude. Could not have expected even better there. Again, the only way you maybe top that is you do not even go to the time bank, but look, that just, again, basically just felt like a bit of a compliment anyway. Looking at that result now, this is getting a little bit ridiculous because confidence for PHOENiX is starting to go out the window. You are shaken possibly after that loss because Lee Jung, very close. Hollywood, not so much.
Yeah, and ultimately that 4-3 go in the way of Hong Kong Attitude. You've got to give it the credit, man. It was just good on the whole. I mean, the cap, the everything, the huge time bank that they went in with. And you've got to consider as well, I think even if there had been some time on the board for PHOENiX, with how much they struggled through Street Space, really the only reason they got to the end was because they capped A so quickly. And I don't know if Hong Kong Attitude would have let that happen twice anyway. I mean, it was just good, clean fights back to back to back. Hong Kong Attitude looked like in the second half of Hollywood there, they have hit their stride. And again, onus is on PHOENiX to disrupt it.
We're in a sort of position now where a reverse sweep needs to happen for PHOENiX, and you never want to be in this space. It's not impossible, but things start to look very dire. Things start to look very difficult indeed, because for other quarterfinals have gone to 5 maps, for our other semifinals that went to 5 maps, it was 1-1 at halftime. It was a lot more back and forth. This time around, it seems like Hong Kong Attitude, after what is a slight blunder on map 1, really wresting control away from PHOENiX going into map 2 and now into map 3. That
being said, Hong Kong Attitude are no strangers. In fact, they are the only team that has been reverse swept in this specific season 3. That's what I'm trying to say. Just threw Pacific in there, just to remind you what you're watching. It's right there. But that, I mean, it could happen, right? And that was actually against Cyclone Coupling. Are PHOENiX on that level? It's hard to say. I'm not gonna like put any money on either side of that one. But at any rate, it could still happen, right? Hong Kong Attitude are not immune. They don't just win when they're up 2-0. That's not how these things go. But I do kind of want to revisit the poetry of these semifinals so far. We did have that full 5 series in the semifinal between the two teams that also went to a full 5 in their quarterfinals. We could get a 3-0 in the semifinal between the two teams that 3-0'd. Doesn't get any better than that.
I think that would certainly be, you know, like you said, poetry. That's just kind of...
You can't make
it just feels like it's the way it was meant to be. And there is a script, by the way.
Always.
But we won't tell you who wins the grand final, even though we already know.
We already know, exactly.
I've seen the script already.
This is all just bluffing. This is fake energy, fake news.
But look,
again,
though, 2-0 is a huge statement now. This is now it's not just any 2-0, it's the fact that, look, Hong Kong Attitude are also, as you sort of mentioned, an expected, still remaining favorite in this tournament. So now, as we go into the halfway break, PHOENiX got a lot of work to do in this break to try and bring things back around as we're about to head to map 3. But that's all happening right after this break.